This is a HeadGum podcast.
You got mail.
Hi, I'm Milly Tamaras.
And I'm Alise Morales.
And this is the Go Touch Grass podcast. The podcast where we log in
So you can log off.
Alise and I are two chronically online comedians, and on every episode of the pod, we'll be breaking down the week in internet discourse, viral memes, TikTok trends, and niche influencer drama, so that you don't have to.
And if you like what you hear today and you want to hear more, we've got a Go Touch Grass Patreon already up and running with all of our test episodes, mini trending topics, a weekly newsletter, and our spin-off series, Search History, where we go back and break down a viral discourse from the past. And now we're starting the pod.
Our first pod on the free feed.
Our first pod on the free feed, our first pod with HeadGum.
We're so excited. We love HeadGum. It's already like a great relationship. It's going to be off to a good start. We're so excited.
It's the beginning of a beautiful thing. So thank you to everyone who's listening today, people who already started on the Patreon, people who are hearing us from the first time, people who are fans of us from podcasts of yours.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Now,
okay, for
those who haven't heard Patreon episodes, we start every episode with a little mini game.
Yeah, something that's related to what is trending online, what's going on, memes, virality, etc. Milly's kicking off our game today, so...
Yeah, so for our first ever free feed episode, I'm going to bless you, Alise, with the gift of not one, but two mini games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the first should be a very easy game if you've been anywhere on the internet for the past 5 years. And
I've been there.
Yeah, you've been there. You've definitely been there.
You got mail.
So the first game is a version of Guess Who This Is About. Guess who we're talking to. Guess who we're talking about. Guess what this is about.
Okay.
So yesterday, a pop culture news account called @MyMixtapes tweeted an article. Based on the quote tweets and the responses to this article, Alise, I want you to guess who this article is about.
Okay.
So the first original quote tweet from @Kira Won't Miss says, "Here we go again. Take us out of the group chat, please." And that got 152,000 likes.
Okay.
So, and I'm just going to read 3 comments, and the comments are clues.
Okay.
Literally, bruh, we don't give a fuck about what they got going on.
Okay.
Then the second comment is, everything I learned about them has been against my own will.
Okay.
And then finally, who keeps asking her questions?
Okay.
Alise, who do you think it's about? And I want you to talk through where your head's at.
Absolutely. Okay. So based off of the clues, this is a group of people. Based off of the clues, this is maybe an oversaturated group of people we've been hearing about for far too long. People the internet is tired of discussing. So, I mean, my mind immediately goes to Kardashians or Kardashian-adjacent people, but that feels too easy to me. I know that Taylor Swift has been reassembling a version of her girl squad lately. So my mind also went there, but what is interesting to me is like this idea of like take us off the group chat, like who's talking, who's maybe sharing too much about themselves right now. Because Taylor, I wouldn't say lets us in on her group chat. She just lets us see her from afar.
So, I mean, one more clue. Or I think if I tell you, okay, it's my mixtapes.
Mixtape. So it's like a music-related person?
I would say I want you to think in a black space because it's my mixtapes.
Okay, music-related.
Or, yeah.
Is it... I mean, I feel like people generally like these two, but is it Chloe and Halle Bailey?
Okay. Is that your final answer?
That's where I'm going to go, but I feel like people do like them, so I'm not sure that they would be talked about this way. But that's what came into my mind, and that's what I'm gonna answer.
The final answer. Okay. The article is Jada Smith says she calls the Oscar slap the holy slap because it saved her marriage. So
of course,
yes.
Now that you hear it, of course, it's Will
about
and Jada.
Will and Jada Smith. Now, I almost gave you the clue of a big event happened in March 2022, but I feel like that would have been so obvious that it was the slap.
Yeah, the slap heard around the world, the biggest event of the year.
No, and everything that your rationale and how you got there was accurate. You said it was an oversaturated topic that people are tired of hearing about, and who keeps asking her. Like, your instincts were right on. I was just gonna say you got to think bigger.
I had to think much bigger.
And blacker.
You know, the thing is, I just watched Halle Bailey and Rachel Zegler do their Actors on Actors Vanity Fair, and I was reading absolutely deranged comments on all of that, and so I knew that Halle's boyfriend got in a fight on her behalf with a nail salon.
Yeah, he sucks.
And so I thought
we don't official
related.
Yeah, official Go Touch Crass opinion. We don't like DDG. A lot of people don't, and we will probably, maybe that could be a good search history of like why the internet does not like DDG.
Yeah, because Halle Bailey's very sweet.
Yeah, but
she has a very sweet
people feel bad for her because she got, she's at the peak of her career, and she's with this like kind of loser guy who picks internet fights and is like whatever. I mean, that's a whole thing.
So that's kind of where my mind was.
Yeah, that's where your mind was at.
Where the Bailey sisters kind of came into play, but it makes a lot more sense that it's Will and Jada.
This isn't the fucking New York Times. This is HeadGum. We do have biases here, and so we live with those biases.
I do agree that I know far too much about Will and Jada's sex life and general relationship, and that I've never sought that information out. It has just been imposed upon me by the algorithm. All
right. So let's go to our second mini game.
Wow. Okay.
So the first one, there was a no.
Yeah. No, so I did lose the game.
You did lose the game. So let's see how you fare for this one.
All right.
So this next game is was this person admitted into Gag City?
Okay, should we say
we're going to show you what Gag City is.
Okay,
so if you don't know what Gag City is, in anticipation of the 5th studio album by Nicki Minaj titled Pink Friday 2, her fans created an AI-generated city dubbed Gag City, and it's a celestial metropolis drenched in Nicki Minaj's signature bubblegum pink. And now, if you want to know more about Gag City and read related articles, sign up for our newsletter on Patreon because we talked about it in our last newsletter. But we all know that Nicki Minaj stans, aka the Barbs, are a shady bunch. So let's do a quick game on who the standum decided was admitted in Gag City, and why admitted in Gag City. They made an AI generated version of this celebrity or person and have decided as a group, as a collective, this person is allowed in Gag City and this person is not allowed.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you a celebrity, and you have to guess if they were admitted to Gag City.
If the Barbs specifically are gagged enough by this celebrity that this celebrity can be in Gag City.
And bonus points if you can say why you think, why, your decision.
Why
So first celebrity is Ariana Grande. Was she admitted into Gag City?
I would say that Ariana Grande is admitted into Gag City because Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj are friends.
That is correct. First answer correct. And what people are saying, fun fact, is that the 7 Rings music video was filmed in Gag City because the background and the set design of that music video specifically is all bubblegum pink.
That is so true. That is so... And, Ariana Grande is playing Glinda right now. That's a very pink... That's a very gagged role.
Yeah.
I'd say people are gagged for her to play... for her to play Glinda, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second celebrity, Cardi B. Do you think Cardi B has been admitted into Gag City?
Well, now that's a difficult question because I feel that Cardi B deserves to be in a city called Gag City. but her history with Nicki Minaj is very fraught. And if Nicki Minaj is the overlord of Gag City, then I feel that Cardi B is not allowed in Gag City.
Correct. Cardi B is not allowed in Gag City due to the things that you said. There's a very tragic AI-generated photo of the gates closing in Cardi's face and Cardi standing outside the gates of Gag City.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, but at the end of the day, like, Nicki Minaj is the ruler of Gag City. And so as I do feel like Cardi B gags me often, but that's not who needs to be gagged for you to be. It's not my Gag City. It's Nicki Minaj's Gag City.
Or Gag City specifically is Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Okay, so this celebrity, Shakira, is she in Gag City?
You know,
Admitted
I don't know anything about Shakira's relationship with Nicki Minaj one way or another, but I would like to live in a world where Shakira is allowed in Gag City, so I'm going to say that Shakira is in Gag City.
The answer is yes. Shakira is admitted into Gag City.
Thank God.
Yes. So there you go. I mean, sometimes I feel like, again, this might be a fan projection. I don't know how the relationship, but in terms of what the fans think, they also live in a world where they think Shakira should be admitted into Gag City.
I think that Shakira obviously is a diva in like her own right, but I feel like she could live in a world where Nicki Minaj was the overlord and like be okay with that and just do her own thing. And so I feel like she could handle what is going on in Gag City.
Okay. Number 4 is Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. Was she admitted into Gag City?
For the exact opposite reasons, because I don't think that J-Lo could exist in a place where Nicki Minaj was the overlord. I feel that J-Lo would attempt to out-gag.
Start a coup.
Yeah, I feel that she would try to take over Gag City in her own right. I would say that she is not admitted into Gag City.
That was a trick question because the fans are divided on J-Lo's residence in Gag City. Some people say yes, some people say no. There is a photo of Jennifer Lopez in a green iconic Versace dress crying outside the gates, not admitted. And then there's some other ones where it says, oh yes, J-Lo and her Mi Gente Latino touchdown in Gag City. So again, J-Lo is admitted in Gag City and she'd be wearing her Mi Gente Latino crop topped hot pink thing. So again,
fans are divided. It's unclear as to whether or not J-Lo will be admitted into Gag City. I mean, my personal feeling is that I don't think that J-Lo can handle the hierarchy of Gag City.
No, she would start a coup.
Yeah, which is, that Nicki Minaj is the ruler and that everything circles around Nicki Minaj. And like, obviously everyone in Gag City is gagging everyone else, but Nicki Minaj must be the ultimate gag. And I do not think that J-Lo could handle a world in which she was not allowed to be the number one gag. So I think for her own safety, I would say that she should not be admitted into Gag City.
Okay, this is the last question.
Okay.
Katniss Everdeen. Is Katniss Everdeen admitted to Gag City, yes or no? Katniss Everdeen being the fictional character,
the fictional savior, the Mockingjay,
of
the Hunger Games,
Hunger Games universe.
This is actually top of mind for me because I just finished listening to all the Hunger Games audiobooks and Ballad of Songbirds and Snake's audiobook, and now I need to go see the movie. So Katniss Everdeen, top of mind. I think the thing about Katniss is that though she never seeks to gag anyone, she's always gagging them. The girls are always gagging for Katniss, and she doesn't even know why. She's like, what? I just shot my arrow. So for that reason, and someone has to lead the army. Someone has to be in charge of, protecting Gag City. And so for that reason, I will say that Katniss Everdeen is allowed into Gag City.
Well, Alise, you are correct.
Thank God.
Katniss Everdeen, and not specifically, I think you were also get bonus points because the tweet says, Katniss Everdeen has been spotted in Gag City. Apparently, she's marching at the city gates, making sure Cardi B does not enter. So, You know, I think, okay, you lost the first game, you won the second one.
Yeah, it's a tie.
It's a tie. So, you know, and to people saying that AI doesn't spark imagination, that, you know, the young people now have no imagination, you're wrong. And to people saying that Nicki Minaj stans are mentally ill, you probably are correct. Well, those were our 2 games.
Amazing.
How do you feel about those games?
I feel great about them, and I really do feel great knowing that Katniss is protecting Gag City with her bow, because she's really a great hunter, and she really knows how to like rally the people behind her cause. And so I think with Katniss is at her side, Nicki Minaj can really create kind of an incredible society.
And again, go touch grass opinion. Like, we love Cardi B. I want to send all my love and prayers to Cardi B, because her and Offset are donezo. I
didn't realize they are done. Okay.
That's an Instagram live that she posted a few times. You know, she said, 2024, I'm leaving all the dead weight behind.
Wow.
So,
okay, well,
that's a whole other discourse.
You know what? Maybe first open invitation of the free feed, Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Anytime you want to come on the podcast,
anytime you want to come to Headgum Studios to do a podcast with me and Alise.
We cannot pay you.
But
if you would like to, for free, come and talk to us.
Listen, I think it would be fun, Cardi.
Yeah,
I think
we would have a great time with Cardi.
And she'd have a great time with us, and she would be like, "Hey, look at these 2 Latinas doing their things."
Exactly.
You know, so yeah.
So anyway, open invitation to Cardi B.
Yes. Okay. So, Alise,
yes.
Now we're getting into the discourse, which is the main part of the show. Do you want to explain to the listeners what is the discourse?
Okay.
What is a discourse?
Listeners, the discourse, it's our main segment on this show. It is the segment where we break down a trending topic, discussion, something that has got the internet really talking and debating, and we discuss it here. We break it down for you. We tell you what is the root of this discourse. What was the first post that prompted this discourse? Where has the discourse gone? 99.9% of the time it will end with backlash to the backlash.
Backlash to the backlash.
That's usually a huge component to discourse. I don't know if we're going there today, but this is our main segment of the podcast where we tell you what other people are saying to each other online.
All right. And that's a great introduction to this main segment. And today I'm doing the discourse. Yes. So you know it's going to go somewhere cray-cray. No, I feel like that's not fair, because Alise brings some crazy shit.
You guys will see. Yeah. We'll switch. Milly and I will switch off every week who is in charge of the discourse, who is in charge of the other segments. And then you, the listeners, will be able to kind of get a look into what each of our FYPs look like, because they're very different.
They're very different, but I would say equally deranged.
Yeah, exactly.
So the discourse I'm bringing you today is by Danielle Fairwings from Philadelphia, who uploaded this video 1 week ago that has now 2.1 million views.
Ooh, that's viral.
That's viral.
That's what we call viral.
And the caption, just to get you in the right headspace, says, "Rejected by a matchmaker. I guess dating is just that hopeless in 2023. Maybe dating won't suck in 2024.
Okay.
So let's watch.
You got mail.
I was rejected by a matchmaker this week. She wouldn't be able to work with me. When we met, I told her what I was looking for and told her a lot about me. And I tried to highlight some of my core qualities, including the fact that I'm very, very type A, organized. I like to be the leader. I told her the types of things that I like doing. I also told her I was looking for a man who was also a leader, because I don't want to always be the leader, believe it or not. I told her I was looking for someone that was at or above the same income level as me, driven, who is ambitious, who is ready for a long-term relationship and ready to get married. She may have actually picked up on the fact that I'm a little high-strung. I'm not like a stressed out or anxious person. I'm just high energy or type A. This is who I am. And she was asking me, do I meditate? No. Do I journal? No. Do anything woo? And I said, no. I said, in fact, I'm not even on the same planet as woo. When talking about what I didn't like in a man, I said I could never really be with a beta type man. I specifically used the word doormat. I said I would chew them up and spit them out. And her response was, well, I married that type of man. She was saying that, men really like a soft woman and I should try some of these vision board, journaling, meditating type of things. Would never gonna be that type of person. She also said that she could sense I had some walls up, which of course I'm coming to meet a woman who I'm asking to find my future husband at the rate of several $1,000s. I, of course, am going to be here really just trying to interview you, my dear friend, because I want to know if I'm going to get my money's worth with you. So, of course, I'm going to have some walls up. I also think it's perfectly normal to have some walls up when you are meeting someone for the very first time, and who also had not taken the time to do her own research on me by stalking me on the internet. She definitely didn't have time because she asked for my socials no more than 1 hour before our meeting. So I asked her if she thought I would be ready for her services. Her response, she essentially said that I am not ready for her type of services because I have too much work to do. My walls are too high and I'm not ready for a long-term committed relationship at the ripe age of 38, where I've been in therapy for 10 plus years. She also said that she's too woo for me, which I can accept that. That's fine. However, I shouldn't need to be a woo type person to be worthy of love. She also said that I need to soften a little bit. And men like a softer woman. Essentially, I spent $350 to meet with this woman, have her tell me I am not worthy of love as I am, but the fact that I need to change in order to be worthy of love and partnership. Which honestly, I think for that reason alone, she should have her matchmaking license taken away, because we shouldn't be pushing on these narratives that people are not worthy as they are, and essentially telling women that the type of woman they are isn't worthy of love. That is a narrative that should not be given to anyone, or it is dangerous commentary, and the fact that she said this to my face had some audacity. Well, we're celebrating my 38th birthday tonight, and we are going to wash all of what she said aside. I am so excited. And we're going to believe that no matter the type of woman you are, love is out there for you. We are not going to listen to this toxic narrative. It's rejected.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I
So,
feel so
Alise?
torn in many different directions by what was just expressed in this video.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is helpful? Do you want to unpack this, or do you
Yeah.
want to talk about the internet's response?
Can we take a minute to unpack
Okay.
before we
Hear what people say?
what the consensus is?
So, Alise, do you think that, well, what do you think? First of all, also to provide a visual, Danielle was doing her makeup the entire
Yeah.
time. Like she was saying this video as she was doing her makeup.
yes, getting ready.
And I think the makeup looked great.
Yeah.
She knows what
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
Attractive
She's
woman.
an attractive woman, and she knows what looks good on her. Like all the decisions were good. And yeah, so I'm gonna say, what do you think of Danielle first, and then I'm gonna ask, do you think the matchmaker deserves to get her license taken away?
Well, okay. So one question I have is: are matchmakers licensed?
I know that's what I'm thinking. I wonder.
Is that a licensed situation? Number one, or is it just like you can kind of like a life coach, like you can just kind of become one?
I thought, and I think that it is more like a life coach. There has to be some kind of certification or something that like allows you to ethically like matchmake or something, but I just don't think that.
I think there's probably a certificate. Like, I wonder if we could become certified podcasters.
Yeah, it's like you could probably get, or like in the way that like a social media manager, like you can probably get some certification and
Yeah.
stuff, but you don't need a fucking license to it. But if you get some kind of formal training, you might be like a little bit more legit than, but
Yeah.
like, I don't think there's something that you can take. It's not like being a doctor.
Right. I feel like maybe the ones that are tied to like a religious or cultural community, there might be some kind
Maybe.
of like actual designation of some kind. But anyway, what do I think of OP here? She definitely seems intense. I think anyone who says they're type A more than one time in the span of a very short, like 3-minute video, I'm getting intense energy off of that.
Mm-hmm. And, this is to preface that I would say to many people, me and you are both very type A.
Yes, that's the thing is, like, do I identify as type A personally? Yes. But I do think there's a difference when people who lead with I am type A, and that's like core to their persona and understanding of themselves.
And I think it's different when to me, it's a similar thread of like when someone's like, I just tell it like it is, and I'm very blunt, versus like someone who's like, yeah, I'm very honest and transparent about my feelings. But it's like when people say I tell it like it is, I'm blunt, I'm honest, it's like, oh no, you just lack like social decorum.
Yeah,
and
you're mean
like
to your friends.
And you're mean. Like, so it's the same thing of like, there are some people who prefer to, in the way of like, prefer to have things planned out and whatever, versus like, I'm type A, I'm gonna be a huge bitch and you're just gonna have to fucking,
I'm type A and I'm gonna ruin this vacation.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's kind of the vibe that I am definitely getting. But also, I feel that if you are a matchmaker, you should be. I feel that probably a lot of type A people are coming to you. I watched all of Indian Matchmaker.
Okay.
And this is kind of a thing that happens on Indian Matchmaker as well, is someone will come in and they'll say, I'm type A, I have really hard qualifications for the people that I'm looking for. Maybe they're not like compromising on those qualifications or whatever. Especially when it's something like, he's got to be making more money than me. He's got to be, he's got to be, educated to this degree. He's got to be this tall. Like, if you come in with a lot of pre-qualifications, I understand that why a matchmaker would be like, I need you to be able to give and take. Again, this happens all the time on Indian Matchmaker, so.
Yeah, I think that, before we get into the response, personally, just hearing the things that she wants, right? She's like, I want to be able to lead, but I also want someone who also wants to lead. I want, like, I'm very successful, whatever, and I want someone who's even more successful. And I'm just like, to me, it does sound like this kind of conflict of what you want. It's like, I don't want a doormat or a beta male, which also, like, first of all, those descriptions aren't fucking great.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's like, it's the same thing that I hear from men, which you see and hear that all the time on 90 Day Fiance or just in general on the internet. This whole discussion of, I want a subservient woman who's going to stay at home with the kids and clean the house and cook dinner and all that stuff, and also split the bills half and half. And it's like, those things do not go to those. That's not a realistic expectation. If you want someone that's going to fucking clean your whole house and have everything ready for you, then you're going to have to bring in 100% of the money. Like, and then it's like, yeah, if you want someone who's going to let you lead and all this bullshit that's kind of sexist and patriarchal and all that stuff, then, it might be someone who's a little bit less like, that's looking for someone that, because we're attracted also to our opposites.
Yeah.
It's not about like beta or whatever, but it's like, there are people, I get that too. Like, also as a type A is like, I hate saying type, but like, as someone who is more forward thinking and a planner, like, yeah, there is a kind of a guy who's more relaxed and doesn't put any effort into anything or planning or following through and stuff, like, yeah, that's not attractive to me, but I guess there's a difference and stuff, but you have to like make concessions.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing, is that I do feel like her energy from this is giving like, I'm going to be a difficult client because I want some contradictory things, and I'm also not going to yield on any of those contradictory things. But in our OP's defense, I think as a professional matchmaker, you should be able to match type A people and figure out, how to finesse someone into maybe yielding on certain things, which on Indian Matchmaker always happens. And I also think if like being someone who wants to like meditate and make vision boards and stuff is integral to like your process and having someone as your client, I do think that you should lead with that before they pay you $350 to meet. Like, I feel like you should say, the way I work with clients requires some of this, as this person would describe, woo-woo stuff. I don't think meditating is woo-woo.
Or like, I think that even the person, you know, again, before we get into feedback, it's like, I think the matchmaker tried to give honest feedback, and it's like, yeah, like, there's woo-woo stuff, and then, like, she was just saying journaling and vision boards. So, which goes into my next discussion question. And it's like, I think something that she said, again, before we get into any of the response, I want to just take Danielle's words and respond to her things. It's important for me and you to declare our residency on Planet Woo. Yes. Danielle was very, very clear that Woo is not anywhere near the planet that she resides in.
She's not interested in traveling to that planet even for a small amount of time.
So again, exactly. So if Woo was a nation, Alise, what would your citizen status be?
Oh, I'm a citizen of Planet Woo. Listen, I've got a little like wooden board that has a symbol on it that I put crystals on, and I say affirmations and ring a bell every morning. I am a citizen of Planet Woo. Natural born. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that I'm definitely a citizen. I would say I'm an engaged voter in Planet Woo. Like, yeah, wow. I'm an engaged because, again, I'm Buddhist. I get tarot readings 1 to 3 times a year. I do think that there are some, if we're saying Woo as a nation, there are some deep, like, that goes so deep into, like, people who sun their asshole for like vitamin D. Like, there is things that me and you won't do.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not the president.
No, you're not the president.
I'm not in the administration.
You're not. You don't have an active role in government.
No,
you're just
not at all.
A citizen, and you vote and whatever.
Yeah,
and
I reliably vote. Maybe not always in the midterm, though.
No, yeah. No, you're not voting for primary and maybe not local elections.
Yeah.
But you're voting for general elections. Like, you're an active citizen, you're engaged, but you're not going to Burning Man.
No, I'm not going to Burning Man.
And you're not
mainly because I'm allergic to dust, though.
Okay.
And I just don't think that would be a safe place for me to be, because I have heard it's kind of mostly dust.
Well, not 2023.
Well, yeah, put a pin in that discourse.
Yeah, that was mostly mud. But yeah, that's a whole other episode. Okay, so let's hear about some of the feedback.
Yeah, I would be interested to see how this was received.
Not well.
No. Okay.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
So obviously there were some sexist takes that we hate. But you know, the thing about sexism, racism, you don't need to give them much for people. Like, no. People will latch on anything to fucking say that. Anyway. But some people were like, this is why you're seeing 38 and other hateful shit. We hate that. But that was some of the discourse.
Of course.
Some of the comments were a lot of the comments were on the matchmaker side, ranging from things like, some people just aren't worthy of love, which I feel like is a kind of mean comment.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if... I also do feel like for her to say that the matchmaker was telling her was unworthy of love, I don't think that's what she was saying. I think the matchmaker was saying...
You're not a fit for me.
You're not a fit for my process and my way of doing things. And also, I can tell from this meeting that this is not going to be a fruitful relationship.
Which we're going to hear. Well, let's put a pin on that. But a lot of people in the comments were like, wow, even the matchmaker has red flags with you. And it's like, if a lot of people are like, the call's coming from the house, inside the house, sweetie. And then other people were like, beta men are the ones that are attracted to your energy. So why would you, whatever. But what was interesting about this is that it got a lot of responses from people in the matchmaker community, like actual matchmakers. So one of my favorite responses was from @Midwest Matchmaker.
Wow.
And she said, specifically, just because, just the same thing that you said, just because a matchmaker sees you as not a fit for their services doesn't mean you're not worthy of love. And also, what a lot of people were saying in the comments of Danielle's original TikTok was that that's not even, the matchmaker never said that. That's a Danielle's projection.
Yeah.
The matchmaker was like, I don't think you're ready for the services I have to offer. Another point that people were saying in the comments before I get to what the matchmaker said is that when a matchmaker has male clientele too that are like, so she has to also think about what's good for her clientele, not just, so it's like a balance.
Yeah, like that's what I was kind of thinking is she should probably seek out a matchmaker whose male clientele are kind of like high level, big money businessmen type. Like I wonder how much research she did into what types of clients this matchmaker works with in general.
And, I'm not going to say here nor there about like every single successful but I'm just also like, I feel like a very successful high level businessman, they, my understanding is they kind of want someone that's at their whim and that'll follow them around and like whatever, not necessarily somebody who has their own shit going. Sometimes they want, it's a little more challenging. So
yeah, and also just this alpha beta mentality is so toxic, and it's probably part of the reason why she's having trouble in her dating life. Not to diagnose our OP, but like just because a guy isn't super into like aggressively planning stuff doesn't mean he's quote unquote a beta guy.
It's
like,
just not,
it seems interesting. I'm like, do you want a guy who's gonna fight with you on everything?
I know, because I'm like,
what
this
do you
is
want?
like the premise of like not a good long lasting relationship. If you're already like, I want him to let me lead, but I also don't want to lead all the time. Which I get, I totally understand that, but it's like just the way that she's framing it.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like in my relationship, we take the lead on different things that come more naturally to one or the other of us. And it's a give and take. Like sometimes, I don't know, I cede certain things to my husband, Danny, because he cares about them more. And then he cedes certain things to me because I care about them more. And I'm more motivated to, like, when it comes to like planning a trip or whatever, that's some shit that I love to do. So I usually take that stuff on, and then there's other stuff around the house with our animals and all of that shit that like that is he is motivated to do that. So it's a give and take situation. It's not like someone's purely like alpha all the time or beta all the time. So I feel like that
it's just not,
just that mentality alone is not a good way to be thinking about your potential partners, that they are either an alpha or a beta.
And that's what a lot of, that's like a criticism that a lot of people had about Danielle, is that like, we have made every kind of personality into this gendered thing that really doesn't have to be gendered.
And it's a dichotomy when it doesn't have to be a like it does. It's not black and white. Of like that. You know what I mean?
It's interesting that has those views when like so much of modern society is stepping away from gender, you know what I mean? And like rediscovering what does it mean like gender wise and all this stuff and exploration and like, I mean, that's always existed, but especially now as those discussions happen and like, what does it mean to be non-binary and all this stuff? Like, it's so interesting that some people are reverting back. Okay.
Very trad wife, which is
Very
another
trad
discourse.
Okay,
we'll put a pin in that discourse.
Put a pin in that discourse. Okay. So the matchmaker at Midwest Matchmaker basically said, if you're type A, you might not want to or have a hard time relinquishing control. And that's kind of the entire premise of matchmaking. Like, it's like, of course, you want somebody who, you want to be involved. Like, it is the most important decision of your life, who you're going to, and also like marriage is a legally binding, like merger of two people, and families and shit. Like, it's important. But if you're giving, like the matchmaking service, like the premise of it is that you're putting it else in someone's hands. So it makes, if you're like micromanaging type A, like it's kind of defeating the purpose of
because you have to let them set you up with somebody.
Yes. And so that's point one. Point two that I think is really interesting is that Midwest Matchmaker says the art of matchmaking is kind of woo-woo. It's like, there are personality quizzes and algorithms, but from the beginning of time and many, many, many centuries and many cultures, as seen in Indian Matchmaker, it is ultimately an intuition-based art. Like, and she was just sharing cases of like, you can just feel when these two people, and it is kind of like a by chance, and it's also like a not measurable, indescribable thing.
Well, think about how we talk about what a romantic connection is. It's a spark. It's chemistry. It's like, it's not about just looking at two pieces of paper and being like, oh, these two people fit each other's criteria, and so it's going to work. It's also about that je ne sais quoi type situation.
And that is woo, and you have to believe in it and whatever. So if you're
love is woo.
Yeah.
Love is woo.
And I think like, which somebody, one of the comments was like, you're viewing dating as a business project by coming with a requisite checklist, which might not be the best way to go about finding love. Which is interesting because it's not a business project. It's not like, okay, we need to hit these checkpoints. It's like, which is why it's really hard, and you want to probably hire someone to fucking do it for you because it's annoying. But yeah, you have to kind of give and take.
Right. You have to have standards for dating, but I feel like you also have to have the door a little bit open on certain things. Like, again, to be like, he has to make more money than me. It's like, if you meet a guy who's employed, he cares about his job, he's really passionate about it, he's already working hard, but he doesn't make more money than you, are you really going to close the door on that relationship? If what you actually want is just to make sure that somebody is driven and passionate, that person is. They're just not making as much money as you.
It's interesting. So finally, I think what the matchmaker and matchmaking community had a hard time with was a thing of like, I need to be getting my money's worth, and I need to, like, of course, if I'm paying all this money and I'm investing, like, I need to make sure. And it's like, that's a hard thing to, so it's like, if you don't find or this person doesn't find your husband, then, it's like a hard thing to have, like, measure. And like, she talked about, I think the Midwest Matchmaker compared, kind of matchmaking to like something that Danielle had mentioned in one of her earlier videos about the egg retrieval process. And it's like, you're paying to freeze your eggs and retrieve them and all this stuff in hopes of one day having a baby. Like, you're paying all that money and you're investing into something, but it may or may not have the thing, but it's like, you're making those actions and those steps to
You're paying for the help, kind of. You're not paying, you can't actually guarantee the result, and especially if you're not really willing to do the lady's process, which I do think that I would have to see this matchmaker's materials. I don't know. I think maybe she could have been more upfront about, like, my process involves meditating and journaling and whatever, and maybe this woman wouldn't have met with her. But at the same time, if the matchmaker is like, my process involves meditating and journaling and vision boarding, and you're like, no, I will not do that, then you're not gonna be a fit with this person, and you wouldn't get your money's worth if she took you on because you're not doing the process.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if the matchmaker necessarily had to be like, you have to meditate or vision board, but what I'm kind of getting to, or like, I guess the gaps that I'm feeling is that when the matchmaker met this woman with intense energy, she's asking if she does any kind of exercises or things that allow her to reflect, because that's what journaling is. That's what meditation is. That's what vision boarding is just a vehicle or a way for you to, outside of therapy, but really ask yourself, like, what do I really want for the next year? Or how was my day going? Or how could I, whatever, and like have these vehicles and stuff. And like, even though she has a therapist, like, that doesn't necessarily translate to those things. So I don't know. I don't feel like well, first it's like she might be too woo woo, and there's that fix. But I'm also hearing somebody that's not really like trying to reflect on themselves or do anything to better, So.
Yeah, because it's part of the process, I imagine, requires you to be like, what are my strengths and weaknesses? What are my shortcomings? What are things that I've struggled with in a relationship? And if you can't be honest about that stuff about yourself, then I imagine the process is not really going to work.
Yeah. So final thoughts on this.
I do hope that Danielle finds love. Yes. I don't think she's unworthy of love.
I don't think anyone's saying that except for that one commenter that was very weird.
Yeah, okay.
But the commenter said some people are not worthy of love. I don't know if that was directed at her, but also people on the internet are fucking crazy.
Yeah, Danielle, don't listen to that.
Yeah.
I also don't think that's what the matchmaker said to you. So
yeah.
As she said, we're releasing everything the matchmaker said. I don't think you should release everything. I think you should maybe think about some of what the matchmaker indicated to you.
Keep some. Don't release all of it.
Don't release all of it, but you are worthy of love.
Yes.
And maybe crack open a journal. Maybe try it.
Yeah, journal,
maybe
please.
try it.
Yes.
I love a journal.
We love a journal. Maybe meditate.
Yeah, maybe just a tourist visa to the planet of woo.
Yeah,
see
go visit. Go and study abroad. You might like it.
Exactly. Start with like a weekend trip. Mm-hmm. See if it's for you.
Yeah, and I think that one of the most helpful books that I've read, as a single person, last year I read this book. The fucking title is terrible. It's How Not to Die Alone, which is like, but basically they talk about indicators of a successful relationship, right? And it was just a good like mind frame of like, yeah, like things like how much money someone makes or how tall they are or all these things like, or even age, barring like big age gaps. They're not indicators of what's going to make a relationship successful. Like the things you should be looking for is like, how do they solve problems? How do they make you feel? How do you what do they bring out in you? Like how, you know what I mean? Like how, like when they're encountered with an obstacle, what is their attitude about that? Because if it's not compatible with yours, like that's going to have a whole lot like in the long term versus like a guy who's 5'6" or 5'7" versus 6'5". Like a guy being 6'5" doesn't doesn't actually mean that it's gonna be a long lasting good relationship for you.
Yeah.
You can have a guy who's 6'5" that literally treats you like shit and you don't want to be around and your friends hate.
Yeah. And he can't even hear what you're saying because he's all the way up there. He's not listening. He's not listening to you. He's all the way up there.
Exactly. So that's kind of the thing too, is like hearing that, not necessarily like, change your standards or you don't have to have standards, but it's more like, what is, and I mean, I think that's what probably vision board and whatever. It's like, well, what kind of relationship are you looking for? Is it just like this thing that looks good in pictures, but it's not whatever? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can have standards and things that you like and you would ideally want, but I feel like for a lot of them, you have to leave the door open for someone to maybe be a little bit different than what you had thought.
And there we go.
And that's that. And I'm married. So I know.
I dropped my earring.
All right, should we move on to our next segment?
I think we should.
Should I take over the tablet?
You should take over the tablet.
All right, guys, this next segment, we are very excited. This is, if you have been a Patreon listener, this is a new segment for you. And if you're not a Patreon listener, it's also a new segment.
Yeah.
Everything's brand spanking new for you. This is our segment, Cursed Content, where we discuss content that is cursed, a.k.a. bad, a.k.a. reveals something deeply troubling about the world in which we all live. Yeah. So today's cursed content, of course, is former New York Representative George Santos's Cameo account. So,
Alise, what is Cameo?
For anyone who doesn't know, Cameo is a website where you can pay B to D to E list celebrities to basically kind of say whatever you want.
Send video messages.
Yeah, they'll make a video message kind of saying whatever you want. You can pay. When my husband and I got married, our friends sent us one from Mark McGrath of Sugar Ray, and him congratulating us on our wedding. My husband says the word wild style a lot. That's kind of his catchphrase. Mark McGrath said it probably upwards of 10 times in this cameo, and we were delighted by it.
Yeah, it's like a fun, like Kevin from The Office.
Yes.
He makes about $1 million a year from cameos.
There's a number of cast members from the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
The biggest one being Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, and then some other lesser... That no one's lesser, but, some more minor cast members, you can get them to say, you're a wizard or whatever you want them to tell you, etc. But so fresh off being ousted from Congress, George Santos, of course,
like last week,
was recently expelled from the House of Representatives. He is currently facing 23 felony counts for misusing campaign funds and all of the shady shit that
what did he use them for? These are my favorite.
He used his campaign funds for Botox. Hermes bags. He used them at Sephora. And he used it on OnlyFans. Even though he had previously done an interview where there's like a news interview with him where they're like, do you know what OnlyFans is? And he says no. Yeah. So, I mean, very funny. Anyway. So he's expelled from Congress, right? He immediately gets on Cameo, which is classic. Price, so his original cameos, it started at $75. He's up to $500 a cameo now. Because
the cheaper you charge, the more people will do. And then probably as demand goes up, you probably don't want to be doing fucking 500. Because a lot of people got cameos.
I mean, this I honestly think is the smartest and most legitimate business enterprise we've seen him engage in. Because
he has to deliver the product. It's not like a veteran with a sick dog that he can
that he can pretend.
Never give money to. Which, if you don't know that, look that up.
But he started at $75. Some of the cameos start going viral, and now he can up his price to $500 because people are paying George Santos to say stuff like this. So I'm going to play kind of my two favorites, I guess.
There is no such thing as diva down, okay? It's always diva up. So please continue to slay and continue to have a great career and do all the wonderful things you do. And I don't know about if I'll ever be on RuPaul's Drag Race. Not sure that that's kind of my speed, but you always slay. So I want you girls to keep serving it up. You're going to write it like it's your bitch because you are going to slay the Boots house down next year. Because you're just going to give him the charisma, unique nerve, and talent, as RuPaul always says, and you're going to go and do great things. No diva downs nonsense. There is no...
He also appears to be in a cab doing
yeah.
like he's in the back of a cab.
And then that's remote work, baby.
That is remote work.
And what does diva down mean specifically?
Diva down specifically means like, I guess like the diva is down.
Or we've lost a diva.
We've lost a diva. But he's saying...
Yeah, so a lot of people tweeted diva down when George Santos got expelled. So that was like really true. But he's saying there's no such thing as diva down.
And honestly, I think this does prove it because he's making more money on these cameos.
Probably.
So, you can pay George Santos kind of $500 to say like, slay mama or whatever. Like,
happy birthday, Alise. Slay mama.
And just like a random string of like, gay slang.
Yeah.
But also, here's another one that I think... So this one, people have now... It's kind of escalated to now people are just kind of trying to get him to say crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I don't even think... This one is, I don't think, real, but they paid him to say it, so...
Hey Heath, George Santos here. I'm so proud of you for coming out as a furry, and I just wanted to tell you that your friends and family all accept you, and they're all excited about your persona, which is awesome to be a beaverpuss, a beaver and a platypus. So let me tell you, they all love you, beaverpuss. don't you ever get your head down, and don't you ever let anybody tell you what you can and can't be. I'm so proud that the corporate folks at Arby's gave you the go-ahead to go to work in your persona. So if you could just, live it up and be as perfect as you want, just keep doing you, and yiff. Bye.
Oh my God.
No. So, I mean,
oh my God.
My hot take will be I don't think that whoever received that cameo recently came out as a furry and has a persona.
No.
I think that someone paid George Santos to say all that stuff. And as a comedian, I don't actually appreciate George Santos, people writing scripts for him to be actually funny in any way.
Yeah.
So I guess.
And also, like, why is this cursed, Alise? Because I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear yours.
So that's kind of where I think it's cursed, because at the end of the day, we are paying someone who was expelled from Congress $500 a cameo and giving him a lot of money towards his legal.
Yeah.
I imagine some of this money is going to go to his lawyers, though some of it might go to get more Botox and filler and
I mean,
whatever.
I think he looked great in that, but the lips are a little crazy.
Lips are a little crazy, and he's starting to get that thing where, like, his speech is affected by the lips. I think he has filler voice now, so that's, I guess that was kind of the question I came to, is like, is it ethical to pay $500 to get George Santos to tell your friend, congratulations on your first Sona, girlie, slay?
Well, to me, I feel like I have moral problems with it, because he was a Republican congressman who said some pretty transphobic, homophobic things, like racist, like terrible shit. And like, I feel like now that he was which, I mean, it's kind of, this is just like textbook Republican shit, where it's like, they will let any white man or woman get away with anything and not expel them. But a Latino person, they're like,
so you're on the side of Latino
Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just also like, wow, like people, like people tell me, like all these people have said crazy things. Like, I don't know. I feel like misusing campaign funds is really fucking bad, right? I feel like supporting insurrectionists are also bad. I feel like making violent threats to your coworkers is also bad. I feel like texting 17-year-olds for sex and paying them on Venmo is also bad. Beating your wife is bad. All these things are bad, but none of those people have been expelled.
Well, that was Santos's parting message.
That's what Santos's parting message was that whatever. So it's like there's that aspect of like, fuck you, Republican, whatever. And then the other thing was like, you fucking jumped on, George Santos jumped on this boat, whatever, and now everyone's kikiing and ha-haing. This man actually, like, did harm. Like, he was elected in some crazy things. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't feel great about it. It's cursed because it's like, it's funny and all this stuff, and like, I don't know. I feel weird about it.
It is, yeah.
I don't want to celebrate this guy.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, at the end of the day, George Santos was never very powerful in Congress, which was why I never had like huge, I never had big feelings about like the ironic standing of him or whatever. If he was doing cameos while he was in Congress and people were giving him money, that I would be like, that's not good. Cool. Now that he's out, I guess if you want to spend $500 of your own money to give this very clear criminal your money,
that's fine. Like,
you
whatever.
can. But I say that it's cursed content because just the entire persona of George Santos, the fact that he got elected in a Democrat, like usually a democratically held seat, that he was able to get elected even though he had lied about literally everything. And if one person had ever checked his resume at all, the
could
entire
have been
situation could have been avoided. The fact that he honestly lasted as long as he did with all of the lies that he had told, like it really did actually take them a long time to remove him.
Yeah.
He was able to vote on legislation.
Yeah,
and
that's what
I
mean.
He was there through the whole crazy speaker debacle, and then now for him to just immediately pivot to Cameo and being like, Gag City girlfriends, slay. There's no such thing as diva down. Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Like, I just can't.
Persona.
It's cursed.
Yeah.
I don't know where, like, ethically, morally, whatever. I think he's probably going to jail. So if you want to give this guy money for the commissary, basically, then that's what you're doing. But it is cursed.
It's cursed.
It's cursed.
It's cursed. And you know what? I think it's important for you to share the reality of living on this planet. And every day I want to go live in Gag City or Planet Woo.
This would not be happening in Gag City.
This would not be happening in Gag City.
This would not be happening in Gag City.
Or Planet Woo, honestly.
Or Planet Woo. You're so right.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here. And
here
so we
on
have
Earth.
this content, and it is cursed.
And you know what? I know, listen, here on Go Touch Grass, we hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump sucks.
No, closed invitation. You are never to be on the podcast.
Never. But he said America's going to hell. And I really do believe that. And that was probably the most honest thing he's ever said.
I think we just think it for different reasons.
Yeah.
We have different criteria.
Yeah. He thinks America's going to hell because...
He's kind of central to my reason.
Yeah. He's the reason why I think we're going to hell. His reason is because trans people can go and
use the restroom.
Yeah, use the restroom and live normal lives.
In some states,
and
they can use the restroom.
Yeah, in some states, they can use the restroom without anyone harassing them. And that's why America's going to hell.
Yeah, and also, like, that he lost whatever. Anyway, I don't put a pin in Trump discourse. That's a whole other discourse for a different fucking day.
All right, Alise, and let's wrap this up with our final segment.
Grasshole of the week. Everyone, okay, so Grasshole of the week. This is our weekly segment where we declare one person on the internet who needs to touch grass the most. So this can be a person who's good. This can be a person who's bad. This can be a person who's morally neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
Exactly. The only criteria is that they are in critical need of logging off
and going outside and having a real conversation with a human being.
Yes. And they simply must close their laptop, put their phone on Do Not Disturb, and walk outside of the house.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Touch a leaf.
Exactly. And this week's grasshole is none other than Selena Gomez.
Whoa.
I know. And so I would say, not I maybe chaotically neutral to good person, but she does need to touch grass quite badly. So here's what's been going on. So last week, Selena Gomez hard launched her new boyfriend, the music producer Benny Blanco, and has.
And what does hard launch mean? Because there are people.
That's important.
Listen, there are people who have no idea of the internet, and we want this to be for them too. What does it mean to hard launch a new person?
Hard launch is to publicly declare on social media, usually with a picture of the two of you looking cozy and romantic, that you are dating someone.
Yeah, as opposed to a soft launch, which is like more of like you're doing a photo carousel and in the 9th photo, someone's shoulder is in it.
Or you post a story and they're walking in front of you or whatever. And it's like, what could it mean?
Yeah. Or
we
like
don't know.
You post a love song, like just a song on your story, and it's like thinking of him today, or thinking of them today.
Soft launch is like where it's implied that maybe you could be dating someone. An eagle-eyed watcher of your social media would say, maybe she's dating that person. Yeah. Maybe they're together. But a hard launch is like an official declaration online that you are dating. So,
and I would say it's a 2023 equivalent of a Facebook official from like 2013, 12, like that kind of lingo, FBO.
You're so right. It is like the current equivalent of making something Facebook official.
Yes.
Which was a crazy time that was ever done, and that some people I know people who genuinely put it's complicated on Facebook back in the day. And that That is true chaos.
I mean, I love that.
I love saying to everybody, we're fucking and we don't know what's going to
happen. We're working on it. Listen.
We are fucking and fighting.
Yes.
And you need to know.
Yes.
And I want my aunt to know.
And my cousin. And a relative that I never met before that's following. Yeah,
exactly. I want this person I went to camp with in 5th grade to know. Like, I would actually love to bring that chaos back if someone wants to find a way.
It's still there. It's still there. You're just not there. But let me tell you. The chaos is on Facebook, and that'll be a whole other segment.
Yeah, my mom was just telling me I had brunch with her about the Facebook group she's in that's just called We Are Italian, and she says it's fighting they're fighting over recipes about sauce. She said it's a very combative group.
I mean, I'm not going to neither conform nor deny any stereotypes about Italian people or Italian Americans.
I'm just saying they're fighting on Facebook.
They're just fighting on Facebook.
They're fighting on Facebook.
Over pasta sauce? That's not...
Over whether you call it sauce or gravy. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Okay.
Back to Selena Gomez. So it is very important to note that Selena Gomez is the 3rd most followed person and most followed woman on Instagram with 429 million followers. And I did want to say, Millie, can you guess who the 2 most followed people on Instagram are?
This is a trick question because, I put the Selena Gomez thing on the newsletter, so I do know the 2 most. And it is 2 soccer stars.
Yes.
Number 1 is Cristiano Ronaldo, and then there's Lionel Messi.
Wonderful. And then do you know who number 4 and 5 most followed people are? So who's directly under Selena and who's directly under that?
So this is hard. Kylie Jenner.
Correct.
And...
when you hear it, you're going to say, of course it is.
Taylor Swift?
The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay. You know what? I believe it because, I don't know. I'm like, maybe The Rock has more international appeal.
I think so because
wow.
I mean, Taylor Swift has international appeal, but The Rock,
I feel like the movies, and also I'm like, I feel like The Rock's content's weird. Like, he's eating like 10 eggs for breakfast and shit.
But he's posting. And I do feel like Taylor Swift doesn't really post.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that.
Right.
So he is posting.
Selena posts, as we say.
And
someone's
Selena
going to post through it.
And she needs to maybe post less. So basically, this all began 1 week ago when the Instagram account Pop Factions shared a post about the couple saying Selena Gomez seemingly confirms that she is in a relationship, and Selena Gomez commented facts.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no seemingly anymore.
Yeah,
it is
facts.
She confirms that she's in a relationship with Benny Blanco.
And okay, so this post also from Pop Factions, it was a carousel, and the carousel was first post, a clip of Selena on a cooking show saying she has a crush on someone. Second post, pictures of Selena and Benny Blanco. Third, a screenshot of her sharing Benny Blanco's cookbook to Instagram story. Fourth, a screenshot showing that Selena Gomez's mom has recently followed Benny Blanco.
Oof.
Fifth, a screenshot from Blanco's Instagram story of a note that he says his girlfriend left him in handwriting that I've never seen Selena Gomez's handwriting, but I saw it and I was like, that's Selena Gomez's handwriting. And the note is about how she feels really bloated and has to fart. So
oh my God. What the fuck?
Very romantic. She's like, I'm going to fart on you. Very romantic. And then most notably and most shadily, a quote from an old interview with Benny Blanco in which he praises Justin Bieber, famously Selena Gomez's ex. And some say shades Selena, because in the quote, he says that Justin's not one of those cookie cutter pop artists. They're like, this is my new single, this is my makeup line. And this quote was given right after Selena had released a makeup collab.
Which, guys, Rare Beauty's good. And I do use the concealer.
Listen, we're not, I do love Rare Beauty.
Yeah,
it's
and
really
that's
quite
not
good.
that's not an ad. I'm just saying.
We're just saying. But I mean, if anyone at Rare Beauty wants to send some stuff over here, we'll definitely take it.
Okay.
So basically, people start. Selena comments facts on this.
Yes.
People in the comments, because comment sections are crazy, and the Instagram comment section is actually notoriously crazy.
It's crazy.
There's even a thing on TikTok now where, like, if you post a video that's not good, the kids will comment, post this to Instagram Reels, and it means like if you posted this on Reels, you would be roasted. TikTok is nicer than Instagram.
They are like outsourcing the hate.
Yeah,
like, they're like,
like,
this is too difficult to even engage with. Please go to Instagram.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna hate on you, but just know that if you posted this on Instagram, you would be getting death threats. Like,
Yeah.
just basically. So the comments are basically like, some people are commenting being like, wow, I can't believe you're dating somebody who shaded you ever. And so one person wrote, you're just so corny. OMG, that man was shading you years ago. Selena Gomez responds, LOL, yeah, and he's still better than anyone I've ever been with. Facts. She loves to say facts. That's one thing I learned in researching this is she loves to end
facts.
with facts.
Well, in the time of quote unquote fake news,
It's important to say
it's a
facts.
facts.
This is facts.
And better than anyone I've ever dated. I mean, I think that's shade back to Justin Bieber or whatever.
Yeah.
And also,
I don't know. I just don't really even feel like that comment was so... the Benny Blanco comment is not that shady. And also, if he didn't know her at that time and he was friends with Justin Bieber, it's like, let it go. But anyway, this kicks off truly many days of Selena Gomez just going at it in the comments with random people. So one comment, he's treated me better than any human being on the planet. He is absolutely everything in my heart. Another reply, then why has he been the best thing that's ever happened to me? The end. That's another, she'll do facts or the end or period. So I don't understand. If you actually care about me, this is my happiness. If you don't, feel free to say whatever you want, but I will never allow your words to guide my life, ever. I'm done. If you can't accept me at my happiness, then don't be in my life at all. These people are not in your life.
no one's in your life.
They are commenters.
Just your boyfriend.
She commented, this person, I did a screenshot. As you can see, this is a person who has no profile picture that she's responding to. And like, it's just a long comment about what they think of Selena Gomez. She's replying to this person, LOL, you don't know me whatsoever. It's like,
yeah, don't fucking respond to them.
You are too famous to be doing this. We're saying this with love. Selena, you do not have to be responding to people who have no profile photo. You don't have to be responding to everyone. I think a little responding to fans is nice.
It's, the thing is that, and I'm like, part of me is like, is the algorithm rewards engagement. So it's like, there is a reason why she's
the most followed
She's
woman.
the most followed, and it's because she will engage. But also for her personal mental health, she doesn't have to engage with everyone. And also, people, again, and the no profile thing, like, I can understand you don't want your pictures out there, whatever, but it's also like, it's always those people who literally will not even put their face out there that always have opinions.
Yeah,
on how
they
you
have
look,
a paragraph
about
Selena
Gomez. And it's like, that's why we're saying don't even, like, if they're not even going to be vulnerable enough to show people what they look like, I'm not even going to take the time, because it's always, just personally, and I'm sure you felt it, it's always guys or people like that who have something to say, oh, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. You're not even posting a picture of your fucking face, bitch.
Yeah.
So how about you do that first, and then we can talk about who's ugly and who's not.
Yeah, and like, tell me facts about your life, and then we'll see who's...
And then we'll see. And I'll comment on you, because I bet you your baby daddy, or I bet you this, that, whatever.
Let's see all your drama displayed for everybody.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, like, go touch grass in the context of this podcast. It can be a pejorative. It can be like, you're a loser, go touch grass. Or it can be loving. It can be, Selena, you're the most followed woman on Instagram. You're a gazillionaire many times over.
Yeah.
You do not need to be responding to Lola Mania 2020.
Yeah.
So anyway, this continues to go on all week. The other thing is she responds not just to, like, it's not just comments on her own Instagram. It's comments on other people's fan accounts and stuff.
Exactly.
And it's like, girl, you do not
need to. It's one thing to be tagged in. Sorry.
Yeah. It's one thing if someone's actually saying it on your account and you're like, you know what? Stop talking shit about my boyfriend on my account. Like, fuck. Like, I don't expect someone to never respond when people are saying rude things about you. Like, I get it. But it's getting to be a lot. So on the fan account Feeling for Sale, they posted about the relationship with the caption, IDKY, I feel like she is trolling / joking after all of the comments I have read. Selena comments, never trolling. I'm leaving Insta for a while until I have to work again. I just stand up for what I believe in, and I have no shame in doing that. I love my fans more than anything in the world. Which brings me to the history of Selena Gomez announcing she's leaving Instagram. which is a rich history. So the last time Selena Gomez announced that she was leaving Instagram was 1 month ago.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
After she posted, basically, like, she did one of those, like, thinly veiled posts about the Middle East where she just kind of said, like, I condemn horror, hate, violence, and terror.
Yeah.
And then people kind of slammed her and were like, say what you actually mean. And then she said, I'm taking a break and deleting Instagram. That was on November 2nd, 2023. So
Okay.
I don't know if she ever even deleted Instagram. Maybe she deleted it from her phone.
Maybe. That's being very generous.
It does not seem that she left Instagram.
No, she didn't.
Prior
Mark
to that,
Zuckerberg probably threatened her, like, you
he was
cannot
like, you
get
can
off
never
of
leave
it.
Instagram.
Yeah.
You can never leave Instagram.
You can never leave us.
Prior to that, the last time she had said she was leaving Instagram was February of this year.
Okay.
So, you know, she went a good
that's like
couple
8 months.
Yeah, she
something
went
like
half,
big,
like
yeah.
a little more than over like
11
half the
months,
year.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah,
something like
that.
that.
9
And
months.
this was after the Hailey Bieber drama, which is a whole other
That's a whole other
can of
discourse.
worms. But I do think it's important to remember that the Hailey Bieber drama was kicked off by Selena Gomez commenting on a random TikTok of Hailey Bieber kind of making a bitchy comment about Taylor Swift. So
I
I
think Hailey Bieber was also kind of picking on Selena Gomez too.
Well, because there's a lot going on, but the thing that made it like they were like maybe making fun of her on Instagram story.
Yeah.
Hailey and Kylie.
Yeah.
But the thing that took it public was someone posted a video of Hailey Bieber and someone says Taylor Swift's name and Hailey Bieber makes a like throw up motion. And Selena commented on it like, that's my best friend and you should never say anything about my best friend. So the thing about Selena is she's in the comments.
So yeah. And then, okay, that, whatever. But then all the fallout from that is why she wanted to leave. So It's not that happened. It's that it was so back and forth.
Yeah.
Which is like, you can't throw a grenade and then say that this shit is too, like, Selena, stand in your business, baby.
Well, exactly. Well, and this is not the Go Touch Grass podcast coming out on the side of Hailey Bieber. Let's be clear.
Never.
That is not what's happening here.
Never.
We're just saying Selena is in the comments.
Which
is
not a good
is
place
not
to be.
necessarily where she needs to be at the level that she is at.
Some would argue me and you don't need to be in the comments.
I would love to not be in the comments.
I would love to not be in the comments either.
I would love to get to a place in the career where I outsource the comments and I don't even look at the comments.
But even probably our therapist would say, Milly Alise, get out of the comments. And we don't have 400 million Instagram followers.
Exactly.
So for someone who has that many Instagram followers to be in the comments,
yeah,
you need to go touch grass.
You do.
Do you have more history, or is that just this year?
The other time that I found that she had said specifically that she was leaving Instagram, so this one actually goes back to 2018. So she had a long time of not declaring that she was leaving Instagram. But she did leave Instagram following the breakup with Justin Bieber. She left Instagram. I think there might be more times than that, but those are where I was finding articles about her. So the bottom line, one final question that I have for you. Is it tacky to announce you're leaving Instagram? What do you think about saying I'm leaving Instagram?
I think like the common internet thing is like, this isn't the airport. No need to announce your departure.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that sometimes people want to know, like, I think I changed my name a few years ago from Milly Tamaras to Milly something like a different last name so that employers couldn't find me and stuff on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I know some guy who studied abroad with me like fucking in 2010, and he was trying to DM me to meet up with me in New York City. He was like, hey, did you block me or something? I can't find you. And it's so like on Facebook. So it's like, oh, if I posted that, like I changed my last name or something, maybe he wouldn't have taken it personally. So that's like a thing too, because the thing is when you don't announce yourself on or don't announce leaving at that level of Selena Gomez, then people are like, oh my God, Selena Gomez just blocked me or something, when really she's taking a break. I think that if you do announce that you're taking a break, you should actually take a break.
You do have to leave. That's the thing.
You do have to leave.
I think the thing that's dicey about announcing that you're leaving Instagram is that you then really do have to leave Instagram for a while, which I think in the case of the 2018 one, she actually did leave Instagram for a while. But the more recent ones, it's been, you can't just delete the app off your phone for a week and be like, okay. That, I think that is maybe just you privately say, I'm not going to log on to Instagram for a while. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I understand the necessity sometimes of saying like, you're not going to be able to reach me here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people who actually need to reach Selena Gomez aren't reaching her on Instagram probably.
But sometimes Instagram DM is a way, it's like I get it. Like it's a business thing, but it's like, she can export, like, she can hire an entire brand agency to fucking review her Instagram comments and all the stuff, and then have a Finsta or something, or a way to like connect with her actual friends.
That's what you know what? We'll add this to our final say on the matter, but Selena Gomez, go touch grass and get a Finsta.
Get a Finsta.
Selena Gomez, get a Finsta. And we say this with love. Mm-hmm. We say this with love. And I think that's the end of our first episode. The
end of our first episode.
Oh, my God.
That was another episode of Go Touch Grass. This week on the Patreon, we have our search history episode deep dive of the Gorilla Glue Girl.
Very interesting stuff.
Very interesting stuff. It's not as simple as you would like to think. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what the hell that is.
Justice for Gorilla Glue
Girl.
Justice
for Tessica Brown. Mm-hmm. If you're on the $10 level, you'll also get an invite to our launch party, which is on Wednesday. We're so excited.
It's on Thursday.
Sorry. This comes out on Wednesday. So if you're hearing it, it's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to Go Touch Grass. And until next time,
Go Touch Grass. Go Touch Grass is a HeadGum podcast written and hosted by Milly Tamaris, me, and Alise Morales.
Me.
Produced by Emma Foley, and the theme song is created by Douglas Whittick. Bye.
That was a HeadGum podcast.
Hi, I'm Caleb Heron, host of the So True podcast, now on HeadGum. Every week, me and my guests get into it, and we get down to what's really going on. I ask them what's so true to them, how they got to where they are in life, a bunch of other questions, and we also may or may not test their general trivia knowledge, whether it's one of my sworn enemies like Brittany Broski or Drew Wallow, or my actual biological mother, Kelly. My guests and I are just after the truth, and if we find it, great, and if not, no worries. So subscribe to So True on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and watch video episodes on the So True with Caleb Heron YouTube channel. New episodes drop every Thursday. Love ya.